I have very strong memories of me holding my brother's arm pretty strongly and grabbing him on my side. And that was my way to get him to stop doing certain autistic behaviors. We have a year and a half between each other. I'm older. And it's a very interesting experience to want to bring your brother, your little brother, out in the world, wanting acceptance, craving acceptance and belonging, but also simultaneously having the need to stop him from doing behaviors that in essence are either embarrassing or are so odd that you would get looks from. I know what it feels like to want to ask your loved one to stop them from doing things. And I know it doesn't come from a place of a lack of love. It's only love. It's, I want you to stop so that everyone can love you the way I love you. But here's the thing. When we stop certain behaviors, we're actually telling them that we don't love them while they're doing these behaviors. Hear me out. For me, I love chocolate. It's my thing. I will have at least one piece of chocolate a day. If my husband dares to tell me to not eat my chocolate, one, I'm going to see it as I'm not loved in some weird way, right? But it is just the essence of it. It's the truth. Two, if he doesn't let me have my chocolate now, you better believe that I'm going to go have it in hiding later. We do things out of need. There is a reason behind a behavior. Always, always, always. And as hard as it can be to think and believe that maybe your disabled child right now is flapping their arms really strongly and they're doing it out of need, but I promise you, there is a need. It's a physiological need that in turn makes them feel better. Our brain and our body has a nervous system, and that nervous system has specific demands on the outside environment. Whatever the outside environment is asking of us, my nervous system has to respond accordingly. Most people have a nervous system that isn't necessarily regulated. So if the outside world is demanding certain things of me, and I need to compensate to be able to answer to those demands, my body is going to need to respond in a way that maybe to you looks odd, but really to me, I'm just self-regulating. In order to do what you're asking me to do, I need my body to do something else to compensate. So the hand flapping, maybe that's a nervous system that has a really high arousal and that is seeing everything so much and is understanding everything at the same time. It's just so much energy that's coming into me. That energy needs to come out, or else I'm just gonna, who knows what's gonna happen. So that energy comes in and it needs to be released. And that's the need. Asking our loved one to stop with the hand flapping, it will come out in a different way. That is just the truth of it. If I'm not allowed to hand flap right now in front of you, I'm gonna go do it in my room. And if you keep making a comment about it, maybe that hand flapping that was just a self-regulation need that I needed in the first place, maybe that will turn into a huge meltdown later. So there is a reason behind behaviors. And what I always love to say is, instead of blaming it on the person, blame it on the brain. Always blame it on the brain. The brain has needs, especially when it's constantly being asked to learn. I was at a family home one day doing a bioplay outreach with Christelle, and I saw a father who adored his son. I really cannot tell you the love that was shining from the father to the son. It was pure love. And as an expression of his love, he wanted his son to behave properly. So he would also hold him by the hand and tell him, stop doing that with your fingers, stop touching this, stop jumping, sit down properly. Don't put your feet on her. Don't put your hand that way. And it was constant. So as a small experiment, I started doing the same to him. So he was sitting next to me. He was grabbing a piece of chocolate, I think, ironically, same thing as me. And I was like, oh, I don't think you should have this chocolate. And then we did another experiment through our bioplay framework where we are trying to prove these points in real time, because really that's how learning happens. And so the father was trying to learn how to do a specific circus act that we were doing. And we kept telling him to stop. That's not good. That's not that. Stop doing that. You're not doing it properly. And by the end of it, he kind of jokingly was like, I'm going to hit you with this stick. And we're like, ha ha ha, he he. And we got him to feel what it is to constantly being told to stop doing something. It is a feeling that makes you, other than not being loved, it makes you not want to learn. It makes it extra difficult to respond to the demands. It makes it very tiring to stop those behaviors that are being asked and at the same time do these new things that you're asking me to do. And trust me, I know it's hard. And we are human. At the end of the day, of course I tell my brother and even my son to stop doing things. We're human. Of course I'm going to tell him at some point, stop humming. I can't handle it anymore. Of course. But there's a difference between asking someone to stop the same way you would ask your mom or your wife or your husband to stop a behavior because you just can't handle it and you're tired, and then asking a behavior to stop because you don't love it and you don't understand it. These are two very different things. And part of caregiving of disabilities and special needs and neurodiversity is to learn to love the bad. It's a choice. We choose it every day, multiple times a day. We choose to say, it's okay. I love you. You do what you got to do. You have to do this right now. Now, when we choose that, there is a second point that comes, which is the teaching. I'm not here to preach acceptance and love without integration either. And real integration, a purposeful and long-term integration, isn't about performing properly and fitting in properly. Because if you want someone to fit in and integrate correctly, then you will have to go with the stopping of behaviors. No, what we're talking about is authentic, real integration where everyone learns about this, which is, hey, you're jumping and screaming in the air right now. That's cool with me, but people don't know you, and I think you're scaring them on the street. And then usually the child or young adult are like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, you're humming constantly. My brother used to hum, like, It was very fun, constantly. So, step one, choose to be okay with it. Choose to love him with the humming, but then also teach. Hey, I would be in my room trying to study. I'd open the door whenever I could do that properly. Hey, I love your voice. You sound great, but I'm really trying to study right now and I can't focus. Do you think you could hum more far away or in the room, just not in front of my bedroom, please? That's one example. There's no right way to do this, okay? I don't want it to be a script, because the problem with scripts is when it comes to the world of disabilities and difference, your script has to be different for your specific child, and I'm not there with you. But what I do want you to get out of this is, what is the cause and effect of this behavior? And how can you teach to that in a loving way? You can even say, if you have to get to the point where you're saying, it really upsets me when you do X, that's okay. That's actually better than saying stop, because only saying stop is so broad and so unprecise as feedback, as information that you're giving them. They don't know what to do with that. Stop what? For how long? Why? What do they learn from this? Nothing. Next time you want to stop certain behaviors from happening. Really ask yourself, what is the need behind it? Because when we understand that behaviors happen because of a physiological reason, really compassion comes. And the best way I can really prove that to you is if you were to look at your loved one or your brain in real time. In our case, we do neurofeedback therapy, and if we put electrodes on the brain, and you can see how certain brain areas that are more or underactivated than others can actually explain specific behaviors. So in Miro's case, one behavior he used to do more than now, he would go, ah, and like tap his face really, really strongly. And that applies to different areas of his body too. And then when we looked at his brain, we saw that his sensory motor strip, which is specifically the part that is around the mouth, was overactivated. And that explained his need to give it that sensory information, probably to make it numb. He was feeling so much around his mouth that there needed to be a way for him to get that away. Always feeling like you have a numb foot and like you have to like shake it away. Oh my God, this is really annoying and painful. Imagine feeling that. With a challenged brain, you have a different sensory experience. So imagine having a numb foot. What would that make you feel and do and act? If someone's trying to talk to you and you have that numb foot, you're like, okay, I need this to go away. You're trying to focus, but you need this to go away. So maybe you're shaking it. Maybe you're not standing straight. And all you're thinking about is that foot and you just want to do something to get it away. It's the same thing. You just have a more regulated nervous system. So we want to allow behaviors to happen while also teaching to them what is appropriate, because we want them to be in this world with us, right? And if you don't want them to be in this world with you and you want them to be in a separated area just for them, that's also cool, no problem. But coming in with that idea that behaviors really come from a reason that the brain needs, it is a freeing sensation of feeling like you don't have to judge someone, because then you can relate it to yourself too. So as soon as you feel those judgment creep in, think about you. Is there something that you do that makes you feel like, I need to do this right now? And if I don't do this, I will crumble and I won't be able to perform. Because that is a human and physiological need that we all have. The last point I want to say is when you choose that choice of not hating on a behavior, not only is that important for the relationship you have with your loved one, but also you have to think about it as how the brain reads that response from you. Whatever you choose to focus on will grow. That's just physics. That's just the way neuroplasticity works. That's just the way human relationships work. And so when we're hating on something, the energy that we come with it and the focus that comes with it is something that intensifies. And so the more that person hears about it and gets the energy from it, the more it will grow. It's just a fact. And if it's not growing within that behavior, so if you're thinking right now, oh, but yeah, I got to stop him from closing his ears, I bet it's happening in another way. There is another way that your loved one is doing that same behavior. It's just translating in another behavior. Worse, would it come out as aggression later towards you or whoever is asking the behavior to be stopped? Hating on a behavior not only will make it grow, but it will end up with consequences on the long term. And just again, think about yourself and your partner. If someone is hating something that you do, there's no growth. There's no growth when someone is not in full acceptance of you, especially when you're not in full acceptance of yourself, when you're constantly being reminded that you are not good enough, that you need to change to be accepted and to be fitted in a certain society or situation. And us as caregivers, we want to come and be a filter to that and teach to the cause and effect of a certain behavior without wanting to eradicate it. When you choose to love behaviors and to want to teach for growth, the point isn't to change your child. The point is to change their story. That's the point. For anyone and for ourselves. We're not here to change ourselves in a deep and physiological way. We were born a certain way. So the idea is to say, okay, how can I shape and how can I change the story and the life of that person? And when we focus on that, then the change within ourselves happens. It's automatic. So change the life, not them. And you'll see that all these behaviors will slowly dissipate and they just won't be a big deal anymore to you.